All right, it's almost time. I'm gonna wait for the all clear from staff. Maybe, maybe. We'll see. Welcome to the folks trickling in. I'm happy to see you. I hope you're excited. Yeah, I got some thumbs up. Yeah, I like that energy. Maintain that. If you can do that all weekend, I'll be very impressed because I'm already like. It's cool. I get to talk about this, and this will boost my spirit. I'm gonna level up a little bit. It'll be great. That's a video game reference in case you didn't know. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. I don't have anyone at the door, but it's 11:30, and I have a lot to get through, so I'm gonna go ahead and start if everyone's cool with that. Yay! Okay. Welcome. This is a panel about the music theory of the Sonic the Hedgehog series and why it's so jammin'. If you're not here to listen to that, I hope you stay anyway because it's a really cool topic and we get to listen to some cool tunes. And maybe some not cool tunes. We'll see. Okay. So a little bit about me. My name is Max. This is my online handle, Shamadigans. You can find me on Twitter or Discord or Instagram or SoundCloud or pretty much anything. Yeah, Instagram. Hey, I do cosplay too, you know. I put some pictures up there. I use he, him exclusively. Don't let me catch you misgendering me. I'll be mad and a little sad. I have a BA in music from VCU. I graduated in 2017. Yeah, VCU. Go Rams. There wasn't a composition program when I was there. There is now, so that's cool. But I studied it and I wrote stuff for my final recital that I didn't have to give, but I did it anyway. I wrote some video game medleys and I wrote a concerto and, well, my background is in strings. I did my recital on viola. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, I've been playing Sonic games since '99, and people who are in the back are probably like squinting at me like, are you old enough to say that? I promise I am. If I had to pick a favorite Sonic game, it's gonna be Adventure 2, because, you know, or, okay, very close second, the really weird BioWare RPG they developed for the DS called Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. Yes. If I had to pick one just on music, though, it's Colors, because Colors has a good soundtrack. Okay. So before we get too far, who in this room has played a Sonic game before? Put your hand up high so I can see. Good. Okay, cool. So I don't have to describe Sonic to you. Good. Who in here has any sort of musical background? Okay, also good. Okay, for those of us who aren't super familiar with it, I'm going to talk about just a couple really simple terms just to lay some groundwork. A scale is a set of notes in a song that generally adheres to it. So this is like usually 8 notes. Sometimes they do weird things and do like 10-tone scales. We won't talk about those. These can be major or minor or modal, which is somewhere in between. Tempo is the pace or speed of music, so that can be like really slow or really fast. And since it's Sonic, almost all of this is going to be really fast. Just disclaimer. Time signature talks about the number and kind of beats in a bar of music, so that can be anything standard like 4/4 or 2/4, which is most of the music we're going to talk about today, or weird stuff like 7/8. Or 5/8, or 12/8, or 6/4, or that's a height, not a time signature. It's both. Musical texture is the thickness or density of parts in any given piece of music and the melodic range of it. So what's the very lowest note in music and what's the very highest note of it? And that has to do with the complexity, and you can hear it if you listen to tunes. You can be like, there's a lot going on in this. So we say that's really dense, or there's not a lot going on. There's like 2 separate parts. That's kind of thin music, and both are good for different reasons. Disclaimers, because I don't want to make any longtime Sonic fans mad at me because I'm only one person. I have a bias. I reflect on it, and I try to contain that here and not project this, but it still exists. We're human. It happens. I've played or watched someone play in full extent pretty much every Sonic game known to man, including like Knuckles Chaotix and like Dr. Eggman's Mean Bean Machine and all that good stuff. Even the weird mobile game that's out now, I don't play it because my phone, I just got a new one, it's cool, but my phone couldn't handle that for a really long time, so I don't do that. But I'm comfortable with the ones that I've played the most, which are most of the ones on Nintendo consoles. So don't hate me if I don't talk about your favorite one, or your favorite song, or your favorite character, or your favorite really obscure lore fact. I'm sorry, I probably know it, but I don't have time to cover it. Forgive me, please. Last one, my musical background is mostly classical. I'm classically trained in stringed instruments. I know a little bit about jazz, and I know a little bit about other world music. I'm trying my best. Bear with me. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this because there's a lot to cover in this, and we're only going to talk about parts of it. This is a pared down version of a panel that I wanted to give that was a little bit longer than this, so we're going to check through this. Very important dates to notice, and 90 is when, like 1990 is when the composer for the first two Sonic games gets tapped. He's a funk guitarist in a band called Dreams Come True, if I'm not mistaken. Really good stuff. His stuff is really good. His name is Masato Nakamoto. And he composes for the first two Sonic games. So this is where we get our original like funky fresh feel. Another important thing to notice is in 97, they put out their first like racing game, and that spins off a whole bunch of other Sonic games that also are racing based. So like the most recent Sonic game is Team Sonic Racing that just came out in 2019. So they're important. Sonic goes fast, so racing games kind of lend themselves to that. Of course, we can't talk about Sonic without talking about Adventure and Adventure 2. So 98, 99, we get Adventure, great stuff. 01, 02, we get Adventure 2 and Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube port, which is the one that I played when I was small. What is another one? Sonic Rush, I feel like it's overlooked for its soundtrack a lot. It's so good. We're gonna talk about it, I promise. Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, which is its sequel, are DS games that are really good. And of course, Sonic Colors in 2010. More recently, Sonic Generations, and then Mania and Forces that do a lot of rehashing of old tunes, but the motto is kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's good stuff. You can do so much other weird stuff with music that's already there. And of course, we just talked about Team Sonic Racing, so that's out there. This is a list of names. I'm also not going to go through all of them. I'm going to point out a couple really important ones that I think are fun. Did you all know that Akon produced a Sonic track? Yeah. Did y'all know that Michael Jackson worked on Sonic 3 music? It's uncredited. Yeah, he doesn't want to be associated with it because he hated the way that it sounded on the systems. He's like, this is awful. Do not put my name on this. Don't do it. It's still, it's still out there. Crush 40, of course, which is the mainline group that's currently composed of Jun Seno, Johnny Jolie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and then Oct. Oct and Jun Seno were here last year, and it was an amazing show. It was really good. It was great. And of course, some of the other voices who lend their character tones, like Tabitha Fair, Marlon Saunders, 100p, of course, we can't forget 100p, and like Cash Cash, also very good. All right. There are other people on here, and all these people are really important. I'll post slides on my social media afterwards, so if you want to go check out the rest of these people's work, they're all great. Crush 40 are really good. Okay, so we get to the main question. Why do we like Sonic music so much? Even people who have never played a Sonic game probably know at least one Sonic song, even if it's like City Escape, or if it's like Green Hill Zone, it's like, oh, I've heard that before, I know what that is. Why does that phenomenon occur? Why do we like it so much? And my thesis on this is for three main reasons. All, if not most, of the music in the Sonic games has a very specific purpose or intent. And that's most of what we're going to talk about tonight, is the purpose or intent of a lot of those pieces. It also, usually the music walks the line between being memorable and repeatable, because almost all Sonic music, minus like the opening themes, has to loop. Because you don't know how long you're going to take to play these levels. Hopefully it's fast. That's the goal. But if it's not fast, you don't want to get like bored of hearing the same like 8 notes over and over again. We got to keep it fresh. Yes. The early games do have time limits too, so we can't be putzing around out there. Also, the Sonic music has really good hooks because the basis is in funk and jazz hooks. Good stuff. We like that. We're going to talk about purpose. This is kind of the main point of this panel. We're going to do a lot of comparing and contrasting of a lot of pieces in Sonic, and why they work and why you can build on them so easily. And my sub-thesis, if that main point was my thesis, is that the purpose for this music is always associated with one of three things, or sometimes a combination of the three, and that's going to be describing a setting, describing an event, or describing a character or characters. There are certain examples where maybe it's all three, or maybe it's just two of them, or maybe it starts as one, and then maybe it's also something else later on, and you don't know until later in the game. They're really good about that. They're not, these games are about going fast. They're not here to try to be like, ooh, I wonder who the big bad is. You know, except for like one game, and even then it's really, really obvious who it is by the musical cues. let's talk about this a little bit more. So I want everyone to close your eyes and pretend you've never played Sonic before, and we're gonna listen to a little bit of this, and we're gonna think about it for a second. Just absorb this. Okay, that's all we need from them. But that was less than a minute of total music, not including the opening theme and the Sega logo noise. That's a minute, less than. We just covered a lot of different things in that 1 minute. We're jam-packed. First, we're going to take a look at kind of 8 measures of probably the most memorable part for me. So we talked about hooks. Early Sonic has this thing, it's been associated with Mario games more so, especially earlier ones where they had this kind of 8 or 4 measure kind of snappy thing at the beginning, but then you get kind of to the meat and potatoes of it. This is the meat and potatoes of Green Hill Zone, the original. Let's talk about this real quick. So we've got this kind of running theme of flipping between kind of major and minor keys without kind of really settling until the very end of this 8-bar phrase. So we're kind of are we major? Are we minor? Are we human? Are we dancer? Are we hedgehog? I don't know. We're going to find out. Eventually we get there. Eventually we settle. We're in the key of C. So no sharps, no flats. I'm going to talk in concert pitch. Also, sorry, woodwind players. Sorry. This has incredible loop factor. This is the first piece of full music you hear in this game, not including the little opening jingle at the beginning, because that just plays and then it's kind of silent. And Sonic's just staring at you play the game already, play the game. That's 1 minute of incredibly loopable music. It just keeps on going. You almost don't even realize when it comes back around because you're just oh, it's okay, we're playing the game. Okay, we're gonna focus. Something really interesting about this. So we're at BPM 150. We snapping. We're going. Most of the music we're gonna cover doesn't get much slower than that. Sonic goes fast. The music is fast. That's kind of his character design. This is how you know it's a Sonic game and Sonic music. It clips. We go in. Something interesting about this that a lot of other games in this era don't super satisfy my need for is how thick the texture is. So we're not quite polyphonic. We're not quite at the point where every individual voice has its own purpose. These middle section, this top bar of the grand staff, this top line, has little kind of sparkly, arpeggiated kind of bits, but they're not they're an add-on to the top voice. That's not its own thing. It's just an extension of it. So I'm gonna say this is probably homophonic in texture. We're not quite at polyphony yet, but we're getting there. It's pretty close. This is pretty impressive for an early game. This is 1991. That's pretty tough stuff. Something really, really cool about Green Hill Zone in specific in the first Sonic game is it sets a lot of standards for us, including this little noise. So we just looked at Green Hill Zone. You know what the first couple notes of Green Hill Zone are? It is those 2 notes. And then they just speed them up. And they're like, okay, that's our checkpoint sound, cool. Whenever you hit that little spinny star thingy that's gonna make doo-doo, cool, that's it. That's the sound that's gonna be used for pretty much all the rest of the Sonic games ever. There are some exceptions to this. I'm not gonna pull them out because they're very few and far between. But in general, you hear a Sonic checkpoint, it's this noise. Taken from Green Hill Zone, 1991. Neat stuff. Something else really, really cool about Sonic 1 is it sets this precedent for other sound effects that the game takes, or other effect-based, event based music. So let's listen to this one. This is from Sonic 1. Where have we heard that before? Yes, exactly. This is the opening theme from Sonic 1. And they're just like, okay, we don't have that much space on this cartridge. We're just gonna use that again. It's fine. Just speed it up like a tiny bit. It's cool. So we're instead of clipping along at like, I think the original's like 160-ish, this is at like 164. That's it. That's the only change, and it just loops itself. It has this like little like running scale that loops back into itself. That's just the opening theme from Sonic 1. This sets a precedent for all the rest of the Sonic games, where either they take their invincibility music cues from the theme or the stage music. A really good example of this is from Sonic Rush Adventure. Here's a little medley. We're gonna listen to like 3 levels worth of this. Wait, that's not what we want to do. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Soon. I promise. Here we go. That's 3 levels of invincibility music, but it's taken straight from the stage themes from these games. So that's first, second, and third stages, and each one has like 2 or 3 acts. It's been a second since I played this game, bear with me. But those are, from Sonic 1 onwards, either invincibility music or like power-up music takes its cues from the opening theme of the game, i.e. Sonic Adventure. They do that. The invincibility theme is taken exactly from Open Your Heart. Pretty cool. Or in games like Sonic Rush Adventure, they take it from each individual stage. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let's fast forward a little bit. We're at 1997, first Sonic racing game. Before we listen to this one, I want to talk a little bit about it because the history behind this song in particular is really cool. So Sega says, Sonic's doing pretty well. We've done some like 3D games, we've done some spin-offs. We're kind of at a resting point. What can we do to juice up the series a little bit? And Yuji Naka says, let's do a racing game. Mario Kart exists. Why can't we do that? Okay. All right, I'm not going to argue with you, man. So they decide they want the game to feel like a racing game just by its music. So without the gameplay, they're just like, okay, it's in development, but go work on the music. Sega Sound Team, go work on the music. Go make it sound like a racing game. What does a racing game sound like? I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. So they bring in a guy from Sega Europe named Richard Jacques, and Richard Jacques says, you know what? I want there to be voices. I want singing on this. Let's get a British vocalist named T.J. Davis to do some singing for us. And they play this for Yuji Naka. This is the first song they do. They just produced this one as like kind of a test run. They're like, okay, let's deliver this to the big guy, see what he says. He listens to it and on the spot is like, I want this woman on every single track in this game. Every single one. It's perfect. Don't change a thing. Do it again. Do it like 5 more times. 4 more times. There's 5. 4 more times. And they're like, okay, all right, cool. Jacques goes on to work on games like Jet Set Radio, Sonic Chronicles, which I just talked about is really good, and also Mass Effect. Yes, very strange. Yeah, the first Mass Effect was very strange. Okay, let's listen to a little bit of it just so we can get a feel for it. Did you hear the synth? Oh yeah, we're in the 90s. I gotta cut y'all off. I love y'all. We still have a lot to get through. Maybe later we'll play it again. Maybe. Okay, so here are the lyrics for this, in case you couldn't hear them super well. They wanted the lyrics and not just the music. You could just read the lyrics and be like, oh yes, This is a racing game. We're nearly out of time. Stay on track. Feel the pace. Race. We're supersonic racing. Feet on the ground. Almost everyone in this game runs. Some people are in cars. It's very weird. Some people float. It is weird. Sonic is weird. Let the fires burn. I feel like, I don't know a lot about cars or racing, but I feel like if something's burning, it's not great. Probably. It's fine. Okay. So this clips along at 162 beats per minute. We're going. This is even faster than Green Hill Zone. We're going. Uses a fun little sustained kind of synth note throughout the entire first verse. So we're just like which I didn't think sounds like racing, but apparently that's what racing sounds like. You know, you want synth, you want singing, and you want a modulation. It doesn't happen in the clip we listened to, but this song modulates from C to C sharp in the last minute of it. But the song is 5 minutes long. If you want to listen to it yourself, feel free. It's really good. Alrighty, let's skip ahead. We're gonna talk about Sonic Adventure 2. I could do an entire panel on this game alone because there are 6 playable characters in the story mode. There are at least 4 stages for each of these characters, not including boss stages or special stages or anything like that. This means there's at least 24 tracks of character-based stage music alone. 24 tracks of just that, not including any special effects or voice tracks or boss fights or the final fight or the theme song, any of that. Just 24 at least. There's actually more than that because Sonic has 6 stages instead of 4 because he's special. Each of these characters' tracks have really distinct defining characteristics, even if the stage setting is in a really similar area. I think 4 or 5 characters have Egypt-themed kind of stages that are in the desert ruins, and they're kind of funky and that kind of thing. What's up?
I think a really good example would be Green Forest versus
White Jungle. I like those. Those are not the ones I picked, but I almost did that. Instead, we're going to talk about Knuckles and Rouge. Okay, so before we listen to these, I'm gonna lay out some stuff that you can listen for when we listen to this. Of course, we're gonna listen to Pumpkin Hill because it was either gonna be Pumpkin Hill or City Escape. You know how it is. You know how it is. So all of Knuckles' tracks are really lyric heavy. 100P gets brought on to do the vocals for these tracks, and they're all really solid. The rhymes are really goofy, but it's Sonic, so it can only be so serious. And you can't say any bad words because it's Sonic. You know, you can't say it. Yeah, you're damn right, Knuckles. That's the least tame we're gonna get. These are all rap and R&B style, some gospel too, especially the carryovers from Sonic Adventure, which was really heavy gospel music for Knuckles' tracks. It's kind of strange, honestly, going back and listening to them after listening to these ones. A lot of complex inner rhythms. So let's listen to some Pumpkin Hill. I'm sure everyone knows it, so if you want to sing this one too, that's fine. I don't mind.
Freak Knuckles, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkin in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with the fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying you a chick.
Alrighty, okay. Love that. Love that. It's great. I'm sure people who haven't played Sonic have heard of this one before because it's good. The bass line is so good. It's so good. This sounds like it could just be a regular song and not from a Sonic game if you don't listen to it hard enough. And then you're you feel it in your feet. Okay. All right, Knuckles, sure. Comparatively, let's talk about Rouge. So these 2 characters, if you guys haven't played the story mode of this game, do the exact same thing on different levels. You go searching for 3 shards of a really big rock that's really important to Knuckles that Rouge is trying to steal, and you just find them based on clues on the map. You have to dig, or you have to go break open boxes, or fight a dude, and you take the stone from. It's a lot. But the same gameplay gets really varied musical tracks. So Fruge is a lot about Latin jazz. She's got a lot of jazz, but a lot of like cumbia and like salsa and that kind of stuff. Because she's really flirtatious, you know. We love using that as a stereotype. It's great. Conversely, where Knuckles' tracks are all really lyric heavy because he's really straightforward. He's talking about what he's doing. 100p is being him. He's like, I'm Knuckles. I'm gonna find the rocks. I'm not scared. Fight me. All of Rouge's songs are very like do 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 do. It's all non-lyric vocals and a lot of dance rhythms. Like you can just like, I could hear this at like a jazz bar, like a dance class. You'd be like, all right, we're gonna learn the two-step. Play the track, and it's this. You get the feel for this one. It just goes on and on and on. The vocalist goes on a really fun little tangent where she's like, lots of ahs. I'm not going to try to do that. I can't sing that high. I'm not going to try to do it. Something interesting to note about these two tracks in particular, they don't take place at the same locations, but they're like, it's just weird that something they're doing the exact same thing. Like the levels are practically the same. Go find the pieces. Okay, cool. There's 3 of them. Okay, fine. Where do we get Pumpkin Hill and we get I'm a Spy, which ends up being Rouge's theme in a lot of other games she appears in. Like they kind of take this little bit and then like the cowbell. They're like, we like the cowbell. We'll do that again. So it's in Team Sonic Racing. I think it's in one of the Riders games as her theme. It keeps on coming back because they were like, this is Rouge. This is her song now. She has a character theme and they just don't use it after this for whatever reason. They're like, this is it. This one song from this level of Sonic Adventure 2. This is her theme now. Cool. Solid. We'll work with it. All right, let's talk about how we talk about themes across multiple games. I have a really soft spot for Tails because he gets like kicked around a lot. A lot of like the fan Sonic things have him getting like beat up or like something tragic happens to him and it's like, guys, that's a child. Please be kind to him. He's so smart. He really is. Okay, so how can we take a character theme and then transfer it from genre to genre, but keep on the integral parts? Keep it so that you can hear it and be like, oh yes, that's Tails' theme. That's Believe in Myself. All right, cool. Interesting take on it. It has a certain je ne sais quoi, you know, that kind of thing. We know what the song is, but why do we know that? What makes Tails sound like Tails? So let's listen to the first version of the song. This is Sonic Adventure, the first adventure. This off here. We're gonna try to listen to the same bit from each of these, but just some notes on this one. So this is in the key of C. Interestingly enough, the same as most of Sonic's themes. They're almost all in C. They like to keep to their basics. They're like, well, we're gonna make this really easy to play. It's cool, solid. Don't worry about any sharps or flats. It's just here, just middle C. There you go. Cool. We're working with it. This goes along at about 145, so pretty slow for Sonic standards. But Tails isn't Sonic. He's his own person. That's what this entire thing is about. He's believing in himself and his own core values and his strength as a fox. I was about to say person, and I was like, There's a female vocalist on this track. Interesting. All the other male characters get male vocalists, but they're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do like a alt rock female voice empowerment anthem. Cool. That's fine. It works. Let's listen to the next take on this, which is the sequel to this game.
When all alone in my chair, I just go about wishing. Wanna be strong, really wanna be trusted. When all alone in my bed, I just go about yearning. Wanna be cool, I also wanna be like him.
All right, so this is quite different. So we're in the key of A now, and we're at 172. We're going. We going. This is a different female vocalist, but it is still a female vocalist. We've gone from kind of like soft rock power anthem to like, this sounds like an anime opening, honestly. Like this sounds like some like slice of life like school anime. Like I'm believing in myself. I'm gonna get good grades at school and maybe kill an alien or two. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. It's cool. We'll see what happens. It's weird. That's the same lyrics. Those are the same lyrics, and technically the same melody. Technically, it's kind of like flipped on its head a little bit, and the pieces get moved around a little bit. But we're still at the same kind of melodic line, at least the shape of it. They take this like power anthem, and they're like, okay, this is not cool enough. This is the cool game now, so we gotta make it kind of like electronic and cool. What are the kids listening to? Anime? Cool. It's an anime opening now. Cool. So they take both of these themes and they kind of put them together and meld them. This is kind of a contentious game, but Sonic and the Black Knight takes a lot of themes from other Sonic games and kind of puts a little like Celtic medieval spin on them, high fantasy. So let's listen to that one real quick. Okay, I think that's enough for us to get a taste of this, but we're in D now. So C, A, D. What's going on here? Are we just going, we're not even going on the circle of fifths. We like skipped a couple and then we came back and then if we followed a pattern here, I think the next one would be G. If they come up with another Tails theme, we'll see. There's still time. We're at 108 to the beat. We're putting on the brakes a lot. They don't go fast in medieval times. They going. They got horse carts. You know, they don't go fast unless you're like, we gotta get going. And even they're like, I need water. Yes. So instrumentation-wise, so we both had kind of like rock band backed sets in the first two themes. Even though the second one was a little bit more electronic heavy, we had kind of more synth stuff going on. But that's that entire soundtrack. Honestly, they're like, we can use synths and it sounds good in games now. Let's do it. Every single track, layer them. We have a lute and a violin, and that's it. No percussion, no voice, just two instruments. And not even one of them is necessarily playing just the melodic line. Like they kind of switch back and forth. I've studied a lot of really old music. They make you do that in music school. This is a lot like old school counterpoint. Think like Bach. Like I went through and transcribed this, and y'all don't want to see it because it looks really, really messy because I don't know what lute music sounds like or looks like. But I gave it a shot just to see what the notes look like laid out together. The melodic line just goes, okay, we're here now, we're up here. Oh, okay, back to the lute. Okay, no, back to the violin. It just goes back and forth. Really cool, really neat, complex. It doesn't sound like it. This stuff is complex. There's a lot going on in there. But the kind of things that take away from Tails is like, this is all in major keys for the most part. Tails is about believing in himself. The melodic line, for the most part, resides in a lighter, higher voice or instrument. Interesting to note, because he's a kid. You know, they're like, his voice hasn't dropped yet. It's solid. We're gonna be up here. We're gonna be all the way up here. So my takeaways from this is that Tails music sounds like him because it's still upbeat no matter what tempo or what key we're playing it in and what instruments we're using for it. Key factor is upbeat, major key, high voice. There you go. All right, so let's talk about something kind of weird. I really like the weird Sonic games. I played a lot of Sonic Riders when I was a wee lad. Babylon as a setting in Sonic is kind of a weird topic. So we have multiverses because like we have Blaze and Silver who were from Solaris. I think that's what it's called. Sonic 06 is lost on me, y'all. You're right. We're gonna talk about it, but it's okay. Babylon is a topic. In most historical fiction, we don't know if it's real or not. Maybe it is. Babylon is a kind of a floating island that rises up in times of crisis. So imagine the entire Pacific Ocean just opening up and just an island just coming out of it and just being there, just suspended. It's just there. A lot of people like to theorize it's magnetic plates or something. I don't know much about that. I'm not a scientist. I have an arts degree. I think it's neat to think about. So Babylon as a concept. In the Sonic Riders games, your rival team is a bunch of birds whose ancestors rode on flying carpets, and we're from Babylon. And now birds are thieves. Yeah, they really thought about the story on this one. This is the first Babylon track. This is from Sonic Riders 1 original, and this released in, I don't have the dates, but it was in 07. So this came out in 07. No, not Chaos, not yet. Soon, I promise. We get a taste of this one. So this releases in 07. This is the first in a series of games in which Sonic and Co. ride on hoverboards. Because Sonic's not fast enough already. He purposely, his reasoning in these games for riding on the hoverboards is he wants this to be fair for everybody. Because he'd be faster than everyone if he ran, but he's like, nah, we're all on hoverboards. I'll ride on the hoverboard, it's fine. I'll still beat all of you. But I'll be on the hoverboard, it's fine. I'll get good at this too. I'm a jack of all trades, it's cool. So we get kind of a weird scale here. We're technically in Z, but it's a pentatonic scale bass and a little bit of like Mixolydian mixed in there. So we're in kind of a modal place, which is weird. So this is kind of like alien sound to it, like alien, ancient, weird sound to it. We're clipping along. We're at 160. We got a lot of offbeat percussive like kind of notes, mostly in percussion. Sometimes the like harmonic voices take this over. Texture is real dense. There's a lot going on here, but these loop back around to a point where there's a kind of like it empties out a little bit, and you get that like same like just the rhythmic stuff for a little bit, and then it loops back around again, and you get back the theme, that that kind of thing. Let's talk about the next one. So Sky Babylon is a stage in Sonic Rush Adventure where another giant. This is a different universe. This is Blaze's universe. Giant Island rises up out of the sea, and you're just like, oh, we have to go up there. Blaze is afraid of heights. Yes, it's really funny. She literally has fire powers, and she's like, I can't be up here. I don't like it up here. Let's listen to this one. Let's see if we can find some similarities. Okay, so we're in A flat, really weird key to write game music in. It doesn't happen very often. A flat is a weird key in music in general. We don't often go here, and if we do, it's for a very specific timbre and tone color. When I think of this, I think purple. I don't know if anyone else thinks about that, but when I hear this key, I'm like, this is purple. Purple's a weird color. This is a weird key. We're at 148, so a tiny bit on the slower side for Sonic tracks, but we're still like, there's enough rhythmic stuff going on that we don't feel like we're dragging. There's just like a lot of like intricate little like clockwork almost kind of going on here. This game releases in 08. Keep that in mind. So 07, 08, 09. Let's listen to this one real quick. This is from the sequel to Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. We're still on hoverboards, but now we have gravity-altering bracelets that we can use to stop time, turn ourselves physically, and then go in another direction. Because cornering is for losers. No, not chaos, please. Click the YouTube link. There we go. We get a taste of this. Guess what key this is in? No, A flat. Yes. We're at 140. So this is on the slow side again. What key was the Sky Babylon in? What was that in? A flat. This came out in 08. This one came out in 09. Someone tell me that I'm crazy, but I think they listened to Sky Babylon and were like, we like that. Let's use it again. We're not going to make another sequel to Sonic Rush, like whatever. It's fine. The DS is a dead console. We're going to talk. It's only 08. It's not a dead console. They thought so. So they were like, we're not going to make any more Sonic games for the DS. It's cool. They were only going to re-release titles. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then we were like, okay, maybe a couple more. And they didn't do very well, I'll be honest. So maybe they were right. But Sky Babylon and then Astral Babylon, the boss stage of the second Sonic Riders game, same key, a lot of similarities. Between all three of these, we get that really dense rhythmic texture, a lot of like build up and then a moment of clarity, and then everything comes back again. So we're still looping because we're playing a racing game, so who knows how long it's gonna take. If you're not good at racing games, you're gonna hear this a lot, which is fine, because they slap. But also, like, we want that replay factor when we talked about being memorable but also repeatable. I listened to a lot of Sonic music preparing for this panel, and I'm not tired of it, so let that speak for itself. Now we're going to talk about Chaos. I know everyone's like, oh, I love Chaos. Why is he not in more games? I don't know. We should ask Sega. Oh, okay. So Chaos, first entity, it appears in Sonic Adventure. It's the first little boss battle that you have. He jumps out of a sewer, and Sonic's like, yo, you're not supposed to be here. So, of course, Sonic, he's just roaming. He's a free spirit. He's like, I don't care about the law. I'll beat you up. So Chaos is interesting because he's a creature that absorbs, as his name implies, Chaos Emeralds to get power. Every time he gets one, he gets stronger, and he gets bigger and gets more limbs. It's kind of gross. It's neat. It's neat character design. Kind of gross. He's kind of water-like, so like he could just like, he could just drip. So the first time you hear Chaos, and also the next couple times you meet Chaos and fight him, he sounds the same. Like not sound effect wise, those change a little bit, but like music wise, it all sounds like this. That's 20 seconds of music, and that just goes over and over again. They don't expect these fights to last very long, but Chaos 4 like really messed me up when I was younger. I was like, I don't want to be on lily pads. Oh, it's bad. Why are you on water? I mean, you're made out of water, but why am I on water? Sonic can't swim. He can't swim. So it is easier with Tails. So we're in E. Pretty basic key for like villain themes. You know, we like E minor, we like A minor, we like D minor. Sometimes you get really weird and you go like F minor. Ooh. We're at 136. Chaos is not very fast. That's kind of the drawback. Like, oh, cool, you're an all-powerful like god being made out of water who absorbs rocks and gets stronger. That's scary, but you're kind of slow because you're made out of water. Noted. So how do we beat him? We go fast. Yes, it's really disjointed. There's a lot of sound effects here, like a lot of like drum breaks and like it's kind of sinister. Like you're like something's not right here. You listen to this music and you're like, ugh. It's really simple though. So for all of that, 20 seconds of music and it just keeps going for 3 boss fights at least. So every time you meet him, you're like, all right, here we go again. Ugh. Okay. Then you get to Chaos 6, which is not technically the final boss, but it is like the last boss of most of the character levels, so you have to fight him. And he has 6 emeralds, so that's almost all of them. Almost. And a frog. Very important. The frog has an emerald inside. It's a long story. It's a long story. So let's listen to this one. Let's listen to this one a little bit. Wow, that's the Chaos theme. But he's big and scary now, and he's probably gonna kill us. We're in A now, so interesting. We've gone backwards on the circle of fifths now. Okay, cool. We're at 197 now. We snapping. Also, we're not in 4/4. The original is. We're in 4. Okay, cool. There's a drum break, and sometimes it throws us off, but we jump right back into 4. Cool. We're in 7/8. It's kind of weird. Gives it a really disjointed feel. When you conduct this, usually if you're going fast, you kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Depending on where your main beats lie, it's uneven. You're an odd number, so we're not getting a good amount of like equality in a measure unless we do like triplets the entire time. Not fun. We got a lot of hemiola. For those of us who are not super music theory inclined, hemiola is when you take a line and you kind of stretch it out over a couple bars and make it feel like it's not in the time signature that it actually is in. So it almost feels like we're in 4 for a second, then it's like, oh, no, we're definitely not, because that would have happened here, and it didn't. It happened over here instead. Ooh, I don't know what's going on. We're still pretty straightforward. There's a lot more guitar riffs now, so less of the like goofy sound effects, like the like drums and the gutter noises and that kind of thing, but we jump in and out of time a lot. So we lose the weird effects, we get more power guitar licks. Oh, we're up there. Juncena loves that stuff. It's great. It's kind of weird. We're still getting sinister, but now it's less like, ooh, maybe something weird is going on. More like, this thing is trying to hurt us. Ooh, this is bad. Love Chaos. Wish he was in more games. This theme is really cool. Sega. All right, let's talk about colors. Yay! So I didn't want to include too many themes because similar to Adventure 2, I could do an entire panel just on Sonic themes and everyone would be really excited about that and we could have a sing-along and it would be great. I wanted to avoid that as much as possible because I feel like a lot of those get a lot of spotlight already and I don't think a lot of other Sonic music gets talked about, which is why a lot of Rush adventure tracks are on here. It's a good soundtrack. Go listen to more of it if you haven't. So let's talk about Sweet Mountain. Sonic Colors, the theme for this game is co-produced by Cash Cash. That's a pretty well-known group now. They were pretty well-known back then too, but they've since gotten a lot bigger. Kudos to them. They make cool stuff. So how do we take the same motifs and make them different? So the music in Sonic Colors calls back to the like original Sonic games, the 2D, more platforming kind of games, like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Knuckles. So we're talking about acts, which are like, you know, okay, we're gonna play this one, and then the next level is gonna be similar but different, and then there's another one maybe even more different. Let's listen to the first track in Sweet Mountain. This sounds like ska to me. I don't know about everyone else. There's a lot of horns in here. We're like, the drums are simple, but we're still like, you know, we're hanging, we're chilling, we're letting the horns do more stuff, you know, and the bass line is fun. It's fun. That's really cool. Ska. I think ska when I hear this, like ska or maybe like surf rock, maybe a little bit. Yeah. I'm thinking ska mostly because of the trumpets and the way that they're used, and there's another one later that's even more like surf rock, and we'll get to that one. So let's listen to the second act. So we've taken the bits from the first one and we've done some Tetricin with it. So this one sounds more to me like almost not like old school swing, more kind of like electro swing almost. So we have elements of like parts of this are swung, but it's a dance beat and not like an old school dance beat, like a new school dance beat. So we got the good like 2 and 4. So we're here, you know, and then there's a really like we're on the hi-hat, we're going, you know. We want people to hear that and be like, oh, it's time to dance. We're going to dance. Yeah, okay, this is going to be fun. We're making our guitar player work overtime. So we took that theme from the first one, and now we're like, all right, double time it. You got this, Joe. And he's like, I guess. He's doing great. We love him. It's cool. So I'm thinking more like dance hall, maybe like electro swing. Like this could be like someone's like senior dance thesis like cover song, you know. Well, let's do some choreography to this. It'd be really cool. Let's listen to the last one. So we listened to about the same amount from all of these. This one really sounds like surf to me, or like something you would hear in like Scooby-Doo, honestly. I hear this and I'm like, this is a chase scene in Scooby-Doo. Like the horn's like, dun, 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 Raggy? So we've taken all the bits from this one theme and just kind of been like, all right, we're gonna move this bit over here. Put this in the bass now. We don't want to listen to that as much. Okay, bring this part up. Raise the levels. Raise the levels. And then we make things faster, we make things slower. We put a different rhythm on a same melodic line. We take a same rhythm and put a different melodic line on it. We harmonize certain things that we didn't last time. The second one in particular has a lot of fourths in it, which is really weird. Generally in like classical music, you're not supposed to do parallel fourths and fifths. We don't like that because it sounds elementary. I got scolded a lot by my theory teachers for taking risks. I think it sounds cool. So we're using kind of like weird musical styles to explore one melodic and rhythmic idea and then just moving the parts around. It was like, all right, let's have a jam session. All right, let's just start the same thing like 3 different times and see where it takes us. And I feel like that's probably how they did this, honestly. They just got the session musicians together, like, all right, man, we're in this key, same tempo. Maybe bring in the cowbell next time, or nah, don't play third horn on this, man. Just sit this one out. It's cool. Interesting stuff. Same game, same level, same zone, just 3 different parts of it. Neat stuff. All right, we're almost done, and I know I can't talk about Sonic without talking about Sonic 06. So I'm going to quiz you guys based on what we've learned so far tonight. We have time for this. Great. Let's listen to 2 different versions of the theme from Sonic 06, and I want to take a poll afterwards and see which one y'all think is the real one. Let's listen to this one first.
Crawl like the fiends, he's a rocket and he's ready to go. 'Cause now the countdown is sorted and it's ready to blow. He's got the dope sound bumping and it's stereo. Kicking ass fast, putting on a show. I wanna get yourself together, there's no time to rest. And if you put the time in, he'll bring you to the test. He's like the running man in his world, more is less. And if you wanna test him, best bring your best. He can't stop now, lock and load. Don't stop now, come on and rock and roll. With this world, gotta make your own way. One is all with this world. Life is just a game you play.
Okay, so this is a version by Zebrahead, pretty decent punk band. They had never collaborated with Sonic or Sega before, and this is their first time that they did this. Pretty cool. It's definitely more on the harder side for Sonic music, unless you count Shadow the Hedgehog. Interesting game, but that's kind of the hardest that Sonic music gets, right? And then more recently, like Infinite's theme, but that's also a different group that they brought into that. It's like a metal band that they were like, hey, can you do a villain song? And they were like, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's listen to the second version. This is Crush 40's version.
Where the time as it moves along, taking you back, always feeling strong, like the rush of the wind. It moves on and on and on and on and on. He's the fire, flame, conflicting pain, untouched, crushed, will remain. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. Hit it straight for an open door. He can see and he can feel without one touch.
Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about these 2 real quick before I ask you guys some questions. So Zebrahead 1, the first one we listened to, is an E flat. It's definitely like rap and punk themed. This makes me think of more kind of like later Linkin Park. This is a good comparison, I promise. We're going. We're at 200. This is the fastest song I put on this panel. We're going. It's a punk song. We don't have time for sitting around and singing about our feelings. If we're gonna sing about our feelings, it's gonna be hard and fast, and everyone's gonna listen to it and be like, "What did I just listen to? Whoa, you got some stuff to work through, man." Crush 40 version in E. We're at 170, so we're definitely. This is still. We're pretty speedy. We're like medium Sonic standard. Definitely slower than the other one. This is more like early Linkin Park. Like you listen to this and I'm thinking Meteor. I'm like, oh, crawling. Yeah. Okay. The game that Jun Seno had just most recently worked on when they did this song was Shadow the Hedgehog. So you can kind of hear that influence. We got some strings because Shadow's very dramatic. He's very refined, but he's very dramatic. And he's hard too. He wants you don't mess with Shadow. He'll mess you up. He's guns. All right, okay, let's take a vote. Who in this room, raise your hand, nice and high, who in this room thinks the Zebrahead version is the original one? Okay, decent amount. Who in this room thinks the Crush 40 one is the original one? Very nice, very nice. You're all wrong. This is the real version. You knew. in-game version. This is what they went with. They were like, yeah, okay. This isn't soundtrack enough. We want dramatic. But we have the rap lyrics. Zebrahead's still on this track. Yeah. We're skip ahead a little bit. All right, so this one is in E flat. So we've taken elements from both of these and been like, okay, we're gonna do this one instead. So way more string heavy than the other two were. The Crush 40 one had some strings, but they were mostly there for kind of like sparkle. Strings are important here. We're a serious game with dark themes like people. Yeah, and time travel and alternate self. This is not a Persona game. So we're at 179. So we're straddling the line between the two tempos. We're in E flat. So we took Zebrahead's key and also the rap lyrics, but the strings from the Crush 40 version. Fun fact: besides the Crush 40 version of the song, which was just kind of an extra for the game, it wasn't really used in it except for like promotional reasons. Jun Seno had nothing to do with this game. Nothing. He didn't produce. He didn't write. He just like, oh, Crush 40 is gonna record. Okay, I guess I'll be there. Cool. I don't know if that's important or he knew beforehand, or maybe he was just busy with other stuff. It's just interesting to think about. He didn't do anything on this game. So, does anyone have any questions for me? Because we are almost out of time. We are past time. I don't think anyone's after us, so you can hang out if you want to, unless staff tells us to leave, in which case listen to staff. You want to sing Sonic R? Okay, first, I'm gonna say, if you want to find me and find these slides, I'm gonna post them on my socials, mostly Twitter. So I'm at Shamadigans. That's a weird name, I know. I have a SoundCloud. There's not much on there but Animal Crossing covers right now, so bear with me. I love Animal Crossing. But yeah, thanks for coming. And if y'all want to stay and sing Sonic R, feel free. Thank you.